Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And welcome to this video that is the second part of a series on looking at your basic chakra needs and whether they were met when you were a child. So the first video goes through the first 3 chakras, the lower chakras, that are related more to your physical world. And then the heart chakra that I'm going to start with in this video is more of the bridge between the physical and the spiritual, and the throat, third eye, and crown chakras. So we got 4, 5, and 6 chakras. The 5th, 6th, and 7th are all the upper chakras, which are related to your spiritual basic needs. Now that sounds funny to say a spiritual basic need, but we have them. Why else would human beings create beautiful cathedrals the way we do? We definitely need our spirituality. So if you haven't yet done the first video, please do. I think it's really good to do the foundational one first and then come and watch this one. So go watch the video on meeting your chakra needs for the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, and then come back here and watch this one. So if you have seen that one, let's begin with the heart now. The heart is developed a lot in the 4th year of life. When we turn 4 years old, we get out of that third chakra need to prove ourselves. So the thing that started at the end of the 2s, the terrible 2s, and lasted for anywhere from 6 months to a year, begins to calm down. And as we go to preschool, we get all lovey-dovey because we are developing more in our heart chakra. The need here, unsurprisingly, is to be loved and to love, but particularly unconditionally, because so few of us in the physical world know how to love unconditionally or have been loved unconditionally. It's hard for us to teach others. So our parents most likely passed on to us the best kind of love they knew how to give, but much of it was either conditional or came across to us as a young child as conditional. A parent's love may have been unconditional. They may have loved us through whatever we did. But as a small 4-year-old, if our mother got mad at us for something we did and suddenly she seemed cold or distant, for us, that could have felt like we're not loved anymore, especially because we're so intuitive and in touch with that love. So it's important to realize for your little 4-year-old child who wanted love and wanted to give love so much that even the typical withdrawal of certain types of affection by our parents felt like utterly we weren't being loved anymore. So I want you to think about this, and hopefully you watch the first video, because again, you want to see if you make love super important in your life now or unimportant. Now, love is so basic. It's the middle of our energy field. It is our essence. It is so basic to the human condition that I don't even see how we can make it unimportant, but I'm sure people have, and we probably haven't lived through it. So I hope you make it somewhat important. But you need to ask yourself, whenever we look at one of these needs, whether you've made it overly important in your life or you've made it unimportant. And the questions to ask yourself about your past were, how much love was there in your family unit and from your caregivers? Maybe you even had friends already at that point at 4 years old, but how much love was there in your realm, and was it expressed? And how unconditional or how regular was it, or was it very dependent on what you did? Was there a lot of conditionality in the love and affection that you received? Just really absorb that one, because that one can bring a lot of ahas to look back and go, wow, my parents were good and loving, but I really received more expressions of love when I did something right. And I really felt a pullback of loving energy when I did something quote unquote wrong. Feel into that for your little one, your little 4-year-old. And how much was it displayed in your family? Were they physical? Was there hugging? Because the heart chakra energy moves down the arms and out the hands. It needs expression. It needs hugs. It needs that physical aspect. And if there wasn't that in your family, it was very repressed in your family, I think that's important to note as well, because just on that level alone, your basic love needs might not have been met, if your family wasn't expressing verbally or physically their love. So do you have a pretty good picture now of how that was for you when you were little? Yeah. We're going to visit that little 4-year-old in a minute, but what I want you to know is that what it looks like when we make love very important, but we didn't get it so much, or we got it. This is very important. Listen to this very carefully. We got it, but it was very conditional. It was conditional, because what we're talking about here, the true love we need is unconditional. As children, we have need for unconditional love, to be loved no matter what we do, to be loved as is. And what most of us get is conditional love. So if we got a lot of conditional love, what that looks like if we make love important, but the love we got was conditional, and so we're scared that we aren't lovable, what that looks like is that we will be a people pleaser. We'll be a people pleaser. We will try hard to get everyone's approval, to make everyone happy, keep everyone happy, even if it means killing ourselves to do it. The other end of the spectrum is we will either isolate ourselves and become a loner and make love unimportant, or we will become someone who makes people unimportant. Like they may be around us in our life, but we make work more important, and we kind of, this is more a masculine thing, but women can do it too, and that is we'll just like, I don't care what they think, there's this like this attitude about it. Can you feel that? So there's either like making the people-pleasing energy of, oh, it's everyone's love and acceptance is so important, or I'm gonna move away from everyone's love and acceptance, or just make it totally unimportant. Those would be the two unhealthy extremes of when this need isn't met within you yet, and you're trying to get it met in one way or another, either by completely making it unimportant or making it overly important. When it's balanced, of course, what it looks like is that you have beautiful, loving connections with others. That's what it looks like. It's incredible, right? So, yeah. Nothing else to say about that. It just looks like really good, loving connections, even with strangers per se. There's a stranger in the line in front of you who needs a dime, and you give it and you smile, and there's a happy exchange just with even strangers. So you have this love connection with the people around you, because humans are your species after all, right? So let's talk to that little 4-year-old. Just imagine, you can close your eyes if you like, it makes it easier. Imagine your little 4-year-old's in front of you, and go up to your little 4-year-old. And it's always good to start with I'm here for you, because that's the basic one. That's like the root chakra one, and that just gets everything open. I'm here for you. So repeat that after me. I'm here for you. I accept you. I accept everything about you. I love you. Dear one, I love you. I love everything about you. Even the things that you might not like. Just feel into that and how good that feels. You might want to give your little 4-year-old a hug. Do whatever feels good. And we're going to move on to age 5. So we're moving up the chakras now. You can stop at any point if you're feeling intensely drawn to working with one of these ages or one of these chakras. You can just stop the video and really work with it. And you could even spend a whole week working with one age, one chakra. So, but if you're ready to move on, we're going to go to the throat chakra now, right here. The throat chakra develops a lot for the first time when we're 5 years old. We're in the 1-5 chakra life cycle, the foundation of our throat. And we, of course, get social. Most of us go to kindergarten, we go to school. We learn to communicate on a more social level. We learn to write our name if we haven't already. We now officially need to do it. If we learned how to do it before, we now often will learn how to do it in cursive, okay? So whatever it is, we're learning to express ourselves, and we're needing to go out and be more social. So the need here is to be your authentic self, to express your authentic self, to be and express your authentic self, who you really are. And you can see why it would be very important that you're loved somewhat unconditionally and know that all parts of you are okay in order for you to then express yourself. So already by 5, many of us as kids are sort of editing who we are. We're already learning that we can get more love if we act one way versus another way. So we may already be editing who we are. So there's a big need at this time to be able to express our truth. So the question, and remember again, the way we deal with these basic needs is we either make it really important, so it might be really important for you that you get to express yourself, or we make it unimportant and maybe you don't even want to express yourself, like you're just completely silent, right? So just remember both of those. And I want you to think back to your childhood and the stories that you know around it as well. When you were 5 years old, what was your family situation like? Did you get an opportunity to express yourself? Like, how many kids were in the family? What was the communication like in the family? If you did get a chance to express, were you encouraged to express who you really are or were? Or were you edited? Were you told what to believe and who you were? And most importantly, were you asked to keep any family secrets? Whether the whole family kept the secret and you couldn't tell anyone at school or couldn't tell your neighbors, or perhaps if you were, I'm very sorry, if you were abused and you were told by one particular parent or a friend of the family to keep a secret and not share it with anyone. Secrets are toxic to the throat chakra. They're toxic to the whole body, but it begins in the throat chakra. So were you told to keep secrets or put up appearances, like false appearances, when you were young? Feel into that. You might want to journal about some of this. This is deep stuff. It's very important. And I'd like you to, we're going to go to the child in a moment, but I'd like you to just feel into all those questions I asked about your childhood, because, again, I want to remind you that when this need is not met, and it was not met, and you're trying to meet it as an adult, it will show up as 2 ways. One, it will show up as someone who is overly, they impose their truth on others, like just too much, like they have to be the one speaking and it's their truth and maybe they're righteous about it and it has to be their way, or there's just this dominance verbally. Or there's complete absence verbally. Someone doesn't like to speak, they won't speak, they keep their opinions inside, they keep their feelings inside. That's another way that it gets expressed. So just see if it's showing up either way, and let's feel into the healthy way. The healthy way is that you actually are so much yourself that you are an inspiration to others. You are fine with listening to others, but you're also fine expressing your own opinion. Others' opinions don't threaten you, and so you feel fine to share yours, but you don't believe yours is the only way. You're aware that there are many opinions, that there are many different authenticities, many different voices. That's a healthy expression of the throat chakra. So let's visit the 5-year-old, shall we? Close your eyes for a moment and just see your 5-year-old self. Perhaps you see your 5-year-old self getting ready to go to kindergarten, so you can see like the clothing that you wore. So we draw up this social aspect of the little one in you. Were you frightened to go to school? What was school like? I forgot to bring that up as well. Not only was 5 is really, if you went to a preschool, it could have been much earlier, but at whatever time that you started to go to school in some way, that, or an ongoing daycare school type situation, how they taught you there and the socialization there is just as important as your family. So that's why I often say caregivers and not just mom and dad. So what was it like for you to go to school, if you did, at 5? Feel into that. Now let's just sort of greet this little one, this little 5-year-old, with love, with acceptance, with an open heart. I'm here for you. Tell the child, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I appreciate you just as you are. I like the way you are. I like your unique qualities. I hope you won't hide your unique qualities, because I love them. And anything else you might want to say, I'm being called to ask you to say anything else that would let you communicate to your little 5-year-old how much you love this child's uniqueness, this unique being that your little 5-year-old self is. Really express that, and then maybe your child doesn't feel like being picked up, but many 5-year-olds do. Whatever you feel like doing in order to commune with the little one. Take your little child's lead. If you want to go there and be with the little child, you can always pause this video as well. But you can definitely tell your little child if there was any secrets. It's okay to tell the truth. I love when you tell the truth. It's safe for you to tell your truth. I want to hear you. I want to know your opinion. Okay, so that's good for the little 5-year-old. Let's move on to age 6. You may have noticed just how much a child in the first 4 years, we're dealing with more basic needs and basic development. But once we get into the throat, we're talking about sort of this social and then spiritual development, because this is spiritual. So the magic really begins, and you may notice that your child and you as a child gets and you got much more imaginative, cerebral. The energy moves up here. Like I've noticed, it's just amazing when you ask a 6-year-old a question, because 6-year-olds go into the third eye, which is wisdom and intuition, connection to the higher self, connection to the imagination realm, right? If you want a 6-year-old to tell you a story, to make up a story, to share a fantasy, or tell you about their imaginary friends, they can go on for a long, long time. It is quite a wonderful experience. So at 6 years old, the need is to connect with one's higher self. It's just slightly different than the need at the crown, and I'll go over that more when I get to the crown, but it's a need to connect with the part of oneself that is connected to the divine. It's still a part of you, but it's connected to the all. So it's your inner voice that's intuitively giving you things. It's your inner imagination. It's your whole inner world. And there's so much wisdom in the third eye chakra. So there's just such wisdom coming out of the mouths of 6-year-olds. So when you were 6 years old, was your third eye, your mystical mind, given room to roam? Perhaps you were even psychic. Some kids see ghosts and know things are going to happen and tell the family that something's going to happen to someone in the family or whatever. Were you like that? And if you were, was it accepted in your family? And was your family very down to earth, or were they imaginative? Did you play imaginative games? Did you talk about fantasies or watch movies that were fantastical, that had elements of it that were playful for the intuitive mind? What was your environment like? Most importantly, was your inner world and your intuition and your hits about things or your imaginative stories, were all of those things honored, or were they capped? Were they made wrong or pushed under the rug? Or sometimes even, did you have psychic abilities and you shared it and your family was frightened of them? That happens too, and that's a real hard energy coming back at you. So I want you to feel into this. What it looks like when the third eye need for getting connected with one's higher self isn't met, as an adult, we make it super important or unimportant again, or we're proud of it or ashamed of it, right, of our actual abilities. So being connected to the higher self, you might be one who's trying to do lots of exercises, intuitive exercises. You're doing meditations for the third eye, doing all sorts of things to open it, and things that make your pineal gland better. And so if you're really making it important, it just feels so important to you to get in touch with your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities. That would mean you're maybe making it overly important. And if you're actually in the closet and you have psychic abilities and you're afraid to share them, you're afraid to come out of the closet, that's like the other end of the spectrum, right? Or you just act like you don't have any intuition, you don't care that you have any intuition, you don't want any intuition. That also would be the other end of the spectrum. And when it's healthy, it's just you making your sixth sense, which is what we call the sixth chakra sense, the sixth of our senses. You're just making it normal and not overly important, but any more than you would make your sense of smell important, right? It doesn't have to be made unusual. It's just another one of your senses, but you honor it and you value it. You're not afraid of it. You don't have to hide it from others. If it's part of your highest abilities and it's part of something you want as a career, you're not in the closet. You're not afraid to come out about it. You feel that? So let's talk to the 6-year-old. I want you to close your eyes and imagine your little 6-year-old. And you come up to your 6-year-old and you say, I'm here for you. Just tell the little one, I'm here for you. I believe in your intuition. Tell the child, I believe in your intuition. I believe in your imagination. I believe in your inner world. It's safe for you to have psychic abilities. If you're getting messages within yourself, it's safe. And you can share them with me. I'm proud of you. Felt important for some reason to add that I'm proud of you. Proud of you. So let's go now to age 7. The need for children when they're 7 years old that's being developed is the need to connect directly with the divine. Now this is only slightly different than the need to connect with one's higher self. The higher self is an actual aspect of self that is then connected to the divine. But the crown chakra, the need to be connected directly to the divine, is to God, to the allness, to the oneness, to consciousness, to the universe, to whatever name you want to put on it, but it's not a name within oneself. It's related to the cosmos, to the all that is. Can you feel that? And as children, once we've gone through the 7th year, we're at 7, we are committing to the divine because we're in a 1-7. We're still, excuse me, we're in our root chakra still. The first 7 years is about root chakra, but in our root, connected to the divine, 1-7. So there is this commitment aspect to the divine. So that's why after we turn 7, some religions like Catholicism will have some sort of commitment ceremony, like communion, right? Where a child can actually, they're seen as being mature enough to actually commit to the divine. And I think that says a lot. So we all do have this need to connect to the divine, and it's ultimately the widest, the most vast need, because we come from spirit and we go back to spirit. After we give out our last breath, we go back. This body disintegrates and our energy returns to pure energy form. So this is a distinct need for all of us. And what this can look like if we make it too important can be that we might follow a guru or teachings too much, too closely, like we give up our own autonomy. We just follow someone that we think is connected to the all. Or we do hallucinogens or other drugs in such a way as to be dependent on them so that we can be connected to the divine, so we can have those blissful kind of feelings. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with either one of those things, but I'm talking about if you're doing it to an extent, I can't speak right now, extensive degree, or excessive degree is really the word I want. If you're doing it excessively, then it's probably coming from a deficit within. The same comes sometimes, believe it or not, if this need wasn't met, it could lead to pure denial of any kind of consciousness, any kind of God, any kind of universal intelligence. So just be aware of those two. And when it's balanced, it looks like a healthy commitment to the divine, where it's a part of your life. It's not everything, but it's a part of your life, and it's strong and it's deep and you can feel it within you. It's reverent. It will usually lead you to have rituals, to do rituals, and to really acknowledge the divine on a regular basis, and not just when other people tell you to do it, like not just on Easter and just on Christmas or whatever your religious holidays are, on Hanukkah or what, but throughout your year. What was your family atmosphere around divinity, around your connection with God? Was there a curiosity? Was there an acceptance that there is something more than just this physical realm? Was there a specific teaching or religion that was believed? Or was your family open-minded and you discussed it? Did they encourage you to create your own beliefs, or was it automatically told what you would believe? And if it was automatically told to you, did you then as an adult really feel it in your heart? Like maybe look at it and then say, but this is still what I really believe. So I want you to ask yourself about your relationship, your commitment to the divine, and how it was forged, especially in the 7th year of your life within your family and school atmosphere, because maybe you even went to a religious school. Ask yourself about that. Have a few ahas about how you were influenced and whether your need to be committed to the divine was met. And it needs to be an authentic commitment. So if you even at that young age were questioning your family's religion, even if you were given that ability to have that commitment to the divine, it might not have been felt real for you because you adopted it. But it very well could have felt real as well. So this is why we have to go back and feel into the 7-year-old. Now let's visit that 7-year-old. Imagine the 7-year-old. It's almost, we're talking about a young adult now, like a young adult who has a little mind. Like, yes, it's a kid, but there's a mind there now. We're in the upper chakras. So close your eyes and commune with this child and say, I'm here for you. I accept whatever relationship you want with the divine. I totally accept whatever relationship you have with the divine. In fact, I honor your relationship with the divine, with whatever you see as God, or whomever you see as God. I honor it. And if divinity for you is nature and there is no quote-unquote God in your reality, I honor that divinity, the divinity in nature, the divinity in the cosmos. I honor your beliefs and whatever you commit to as your divine. Good. And then you may want to give this little one a hug, or it's almost ceremonious. You might find yourself handing something to the child. We've gone through all 7 chakras, and that's pretty much it for the needs. I hope that you'll go back and look at this video again and stop it and do the exercises and ask the questions, because sometimes as I'm talking, it's too fast. We really want to dive deep. This is all about your personal experience. Ask the questions, hang out with your little one. You could also tap if you want to add a little tapping. You know how to do that. You've seen it in my other videos. And let's just really move toward more and more wholeness. Again, we aren't fixing anything. We're actually letting go of blocks and becoming more and more of who we really are. So thank you for joining me on this video and for going through these exercises with me. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next video. Blessings.